people could do that.
That's fine.
Folks, I have the hour has arrived. Oh, your system on? I'll tell you what it needs to be. There could be some improvement on that for sure. You got it on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. I call the meeting to order. And Mr. Griffin, I'll ask you to give the invocation, please.
Let us pray. God and Father in heaven, thank you for this day. Thank you for allowing us to meet here. Thank you for our city business. Give us wisdom, give us prudence and guidance on what we need to do tonight. All these things we ask in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Let's stand and pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, the agenda has been printed and before you. Anybody got any changes, anything they want done with it? This is a work session, and sometimes we act like it's a regular session, but we were told that we had the authority to, where necessary, since we advertise and publish our work session just like we do regular meetings, that we can do that when needed. We need to try to leave it to this hour that we plan here to discussing and let it be a work session. And I'm going to, there's a few things that I want to add, and that I want to catch you up to date, make sure. I think I've tried to communicate with all of you about it, but anyway, for the benefit of, we get a good bit of publicity with our media consultant in the back there that does a good job for us, and so we'll, there's a few items in the various commissioner comments that I want to handle, but it won't be too long, but I do want to bring everybody up to date on it. No other amendments or suggestions for agenda alterations? If not, I entertain a motion that we approve the agenda as printed.
Make a motion.
Mr. Griffin made a motion that we approve the printed agenda. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Bloodworth. Any further discussion? You're not a call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we'll work with the agenda and with the 2 or 3 comments that we'll make in the Mayor and Commissioner session. Mr. Sellers, you're number 1 on the agenda. Come on up to the right here, please, sir.
My name's Stanley Sellers, and I own the Yellow Jacket Car Wash. And back, I guess it was in 16, we had this agreement to redo the piping up there, and the city didn't uphold very little of the deal. The parking lot ain't fixed, the pipe wasn't replaced, and you go over there now, and the water stands on the parking lot, it stand there 24 hours, 7 days a week. It'll never go away, because it can't go away. But the city didn't do what they were supposed to do. And they spent all that money up there. If you go up there right now, there's a hole started right where the other one was at before. It's undermining under the highway. But I've been told that's all my problem now. I got it black and white right here in agreement that says it's supposed to be replaced, and it was not. I just need to know if y'all gonna fix it, or yes or no.
Nobody quiet.
Could we get a copy of that agreement that
She's
you got?
got plenty of them supposed to. I have one, just in case I mean,
But did they do any work on the lot and stuff?
Yes, they did. They come back after and run one pipe there behind the ice maker I have, and tied it back into a drain that they replaced, on the back side of the property. But far as in the parking lot, no. They use the parking lot to work back and forth with their equipment, but far as replacing the drain, like it says in number 2 there, none of that's replaced. And it says it's supposed to be replaced from from the northmost and the southernmost end. And that was
Do we have a copy of that agreement?
Randy was just told you what right in reading on behalf of the council.
I'm gonna skip the whereas portions, and I'll go ahead and read y'all the paragraphs. Number one, City of Hazelhurst and Yellow Jacket Car Wash do hereby agree that any rights of the City of Hazelhurst to all existing drain lines and pipes under or through car wash are hereby canceled and abandoned, shall henceforth be the sole exclusive property and responsibility of the car wash. Car wash grants the City of Hazelhurst construction easement to enter upon the land for the car wash, described in deed book 270, page 106, recorded in the office of the clerk of Superior Court for Jeff Davis County, Georgia, to replace the existing 36-inch drain pipe and 24-inch drain pipe from the northernmost drain gate to the southernmost drain gate, and from the southernmost drain gate to the recorded drainage easement from Yellow Jacket Car Wash to the City of Hazelhurst. Upon completion of the installation of the 24-inch drain pipe, city shall repair any asphalt or pavement damaged by it in the installation of said drain pipe, as well as that damaged by its installation of the drain pipe in the permanent recorded easement. Said construction easement shall terminate upon the completion of such repair. Yellow Jacket Car Wash and the city agree that upon the completion of the installation of said 24-inch drain pipe, ownership of such pipe shall vest exclusively in Yellow Jacket Car Wash, and it shall be responsible for all maintenance of said pipe thenceforth. The City of Hazelhurst shall have no permanent or temporary easement for such drain line, it being the intention of the parties that such line become the sole property and responsibility the car wash, as well as other drain lines or pipes not granted in writing to the City of Hazelhurst by recorded easement.
So was what he said wasn't done, was it not done?
I was not involved in that part of it, as far as what was actually done on the property, I wouldn't know myself.
You was involved in it in the end.
In
And
the
when you went to
drafting of the
talk to him, I
contract.
called up and you wouldn't talk to him, you have somebody else talk to him. You finally at the end, you told him if I was gonna get anything outside the city, just sue him. Is that what you said? 'Cause I could hear you in the background talking.
I'm not admitting anything like, any statement like that.
You said if I was gonna get anything outside the city, I had to get me a lawyer, I guess. That might have been more nicer way to put it, but.
The,
I'm for doing what we said.
I understand, I don't want no more,
Right. I
call us
get
to me and I want no less.
And I don't know if it was done or not, but
Well, I
if
can-
it
well, I do,
was.
I do. I know exactly what was.
Well, what was it done or not?
The drain and the easement that you signed on your property, you signed us a new easement.
I signed what she just read, if that's it or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
You signed a new easement where we started here, when we came across North William Street, and we started right there and run up the right of way, which you granted this easement on your property. And then we got the next person, and we turned and went down the park line between you and them, and behind Dick's Wings, and out into the canal, and we finished the entire project.
That's right.
The old land that did go through your property was abandoned.
So what now?
The line that went through your property was abandoned as far as any,
Why you say it's abandoned?
wait, let me finish. The main tributary and the rock inlets all the way around that thing for all water to go into that line. When that line that goes through your property, just like the thing says, that you are responsible for that from now on. Now, wait a minute.
They ain't nothing there to be responsible for.
Yes, there is. It drains both ways. You still got that line that can drain back to North William Street, and it can drain down there to your ice machine where we put
How
your,
can it drain when it's full of concrete?
well, it ain't, no, we didn't pour concrete
Who
there.
paid for the bill? Who paid the bill to put the concrete in the drain then?
The concrete is not in those drains. It's to prevent
Prevent what?
it's to prevent the water from going under with Dick's Wings. You still got that whole open line is yours.
We need to ride over the scene and you show me that what's all mine. It's full of concrete.
No, it's not.
But damn sure is, I've seen it,
Well, it may be full of mud, but if it's full of concrete, we didn't put it in there. The only place we put the concrete is, listen to me carefully now.
Okay.
Because now I think I'm gonna make some suggestions to the council here in a minute, because I've heard about all this over here.
Yeah.
And I want to be your friend. By the way, I put enough money in your blue machine to pay for what you want done. And I'm still putting in, I just got through washing my truck yesterday, I believe. So I patronize you, I'm a customer.
Well, that's fine.
But now, when that line came across there, we left that line just like it was. Nothing was done. From over that William Street till we got to where it goes under Dick's Wings, we poured concrete so that no more water will go that way.
That's correct.
You're right about that, there's concrete there now.
Okay.
Now, but right there this side of it, I put you a drain line to go from there into that big 48-inch line over there. So your water from coming out there, it can go both ways. It's actually downhill a little bit to go this way, but it can, if you have a lot of water there, it can go back and come in there. So you've got you a drain line across there that's in a hell of a mess. And your pavement and everything else is, that's across there, but again, we've put you adjacent to your property, a drain line and pipe in there and drop inlets that'll last for 50 years to come.
Yeah, but water don't run uphill.
Well, I can't help you down in the hole.
Yeah, water don't run uphill, and I don't know whose idea it was, you said you bought it off over at Dick's Swings where water couldn't go that way. So all the water's supposed to be going toward Dick's Swings through that drain. When you block it off over there, so that means water's got to back up in the pipe that was there and run back out to the road. Yes,
I'm not that stupid, Mr. Sellers.
Well, how, it's all downhill.
Listen, when you go over there, that pipe is right, it's downhill, and it goes downhill over the 48
That
inch
ain't
line.
that's not what I'm saying.
Here's the thing, council, we've toyed and dilly-dally back and forth, and we didn't go across his property, we didn't do a thing in the world to his property, we bypassed it, we did the grade work where most of it come out of there, but he's got some holes and asphalt washed down every time I wash my car, I have to run through mud to get out of there.
Wonder why?
Because you haven't fixed your drain line.
Yeah. Well, you filled it full of concrete, and you didn't replace them like you said you was gonna do. If, number 2 says replace, then number 2 right here says replace what you just read. Yes, it says replace. Replace
At
the
the time, we
36.
thought we were going across your property, we didn't go across your property, you gave us a new
Can
easement.
I ask a question?
Yes,
Can we replace this drain line?
you don't need to replace the drain line.
Did we say we would?
You talking about no,
I mean,
it's totally impossible to put a 48-inch drain line across his property, that don't
It
make
don't
any.
say 40, it says replace 36 to a 24.
Well, you're right, it would take but a 24 to get, we got a nice drain there for you, the drainage is there.
Yeah, it don't run, water don't run uphill. I had, it's catch basins
Mr.
down here, listen to me, listen to me. I had catch basins down here where, when you drive off the Self First, catch basins, they about this big, square span well. Water would run into it, then it would run toward the Dick Swings, all right? Then, after y'all blocked it off, they just fill up. It had nowhere to go. Then, I raised sand, y'all come back and went from the ice maker right there, everything was done over at the ice maker, and run that one line there behind Mr. Buddy over there. I don't know what the splice name is, that property, put that in there.
I was doing all at the same time before we
It
finished.
was not, equipment done left, Deeds had to come
Did-
back,
did-
had to bring their equipment back and redo it, because I went through and said it. The water would just pile up under the ice maker, because y'all blocked it off.
It was all in the original plan when we finally got the plan designed and came around, that over there at your ice machine, we cut into your line there where the water that had been coming through and going under Dick Swings will then turn and go into the 48-inch pipe, and we put that in. So you've got a means of your water to get out of there if you get all the dirt and the mud and fix the thing like it ought to be. But gentlemen,
Also, it's my fault now?
Did we say we would replace the line?
Mr. Sellers, this is a work session,
Yes.
and I do believe that we can do as a work session should be, and continue this in the next couple of days before we have our meeting and explore what we can do
Yes.
about that. I make no promises that we're gonna cure it. I'm the junior on the block, and I'm behind the cue ball. I'm not aware of this at all, but we will dig into it and see what the possibilities are. And if we said that we are gonna do something, I definitely believe that we should do it if we said we're gonna do it.
I mean,
That's what you're wanting in the contract, and I think that we need to get our attorney to tell us that we said we're gonna do it, then we do it. If it's not in there, we don't.
Right, I mean, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't promised it, or, wasn't, I just want what's supposed to be done.
Mr. Mayor, who did the easement? I mean, who drawed up the,
Kim.
okay, Ken drawed,
Ken drawed.
but who drawed up the different, specs on this?
Hostetter did the whole thing for us.
Carl Hospital?
Yeah.
Okay. Let us, because if you got a city and got an engineer, let him look at that and let's see what they come back in and deal with this and bring it back before us. Because I think both of you may be right, and it may be just something that might need tweaking or whatever. But let's let Carl, since he is our engineer, and let him come back and look at that and make sure that we went by everything that was written up. And if that way, then, you know, then we can keep things straight more than just all of us trying to come up with what's what. Can we do that? Can we have Carl come down and look at that before we go talk about return or whatever? We got
That's the 16 now.
Okay,
This is
no.
not long enough.
Long enough. Let's get him, one of us will come, the mayor or me or somebody will get Carl this week and have him come back and look over this thing and see what we can do.
Here again, I think we're gonna have to bite the bullet and help you. It's been drugged around and shuffled this way and another, but I really believe, first thing I'm going to do is to convince you, Mr. Salary, and you need this, you need to know, is that I can come there, the last, you gotta drop in it back over there where you hand wash, and then you got your drive-through, your automatic machine. You gotta drop in that over there to stop up. When you come out of the car wash, you got another one here. I'm gonna run our city, listen to me very carefully now. I'm gonna run our city sewer machine in right here to that next pipe over that 48-inch pipe, and I'm gonna show you that the water that's coming out of your car wash has got a place to go into that 48-inch pipe. I would not have left you without that.
Well, you did. We can go over tonight, the water don't come from the bottom and run up like this to the drains. There's no way you can do it.
I'm gonna let,
Lacey Bennett was there, and he said, no, we're gonna block it off, and this pipe right here's got to fill up full of water and run back over to the graveyard side. And the whole reason we was replacing it because it was deteriorating in the first place. So you just gonna leave me with that pipe out the car wash with them bass, with them hand things, or whatever you wanna call them, for the water to catch, basically for the water to go in. So then it was gonna be mine once you was through with it. You didn't care if mine rusted away, you just gonna go run the pipe around outside the property. You wasn't gonna, but water can't go uphill.
no, you're in a heck of a hole down there, you're right. You're in a heck of a hole.
Well, it did drain better than, a whole lot better than it did before you started with it.
Well, it undermined the folks building down there too. Yeah, it was an open ditch almost in. I'm sorry that you've had that problem, I really am. And,
But you know, if you.
but I'll say this to you, if you had worked with us since we didn't have to go through your yard at all, we didn't have to touch that. That didn't have to be touched in this project at all.
Well, why did y'all start it then?
It was undermining that building and I had to cover up that hole.
And then the state
Wait a minute,
man, we got to start it about.
So when we came around with the new line, the big 48 big line now, handled for years to come, I put you a thing from your pipe to the new one so that your property would drain.
The one behind the ice maker, is that one you referring to?
Yeah, it'll go both ways. It'll go in William Street and it'll go that way. You gotta drain both ways.
How do you figure both ways? Now, I don't understand that. I might not be the smartest fellow.
Well, I am. I've been in that business for 50 years. And the elevation coming out of the drop inlet over there and the elevation that this drop inlet over there is almost the same. They're not 6 inches difference in them. So the water out there will run and go in that way, it'll go in there, or it'll run across the yard like you're doing because they're stopped up and find its way in the middle.
I don't know what you keep saying stopped up because they're full of concrete. It can't be nothing, you know, but
But
concrete.
you must put concrete in, I didn't.
Can you, don't go looking around. There's 3 truckloads of concrete went in them drains. Did you not pay for it? City didn't pay for it?
Not there, it went under Dick's wings.
You want some pictures? Where the Lacey Bennett,
I'm gonna go run the pressure hose.
I wish you would. I want to see you put that pressure hose through concrete.
I'm going to.
We'll call you when you go up there. I want to see this.
If you wanna see that, it's gonna be
Yeah, I
strong.
want to see it.
You wanna see that, drill that hole like concrete,
Yeah.
All right, okay. Well, like Mr. Dwayne said, I think we're gonna have to get together and come up with some kind of compromise.
But let us talk with him, and like you said, it's been going 2 years, and now that we're getting started, we'll get something straight.
Now,
We'll get
see,
it done.
The city knew they didn't do what it's supposed to. They had hires come up there to look at it, gonna pave that part, just on the back now, where the drains was at. He come up there and met with him. I said, just cover up right from this concrete over here to the dirt line. And he never showed up. I don't know what happened to that deal. Then whoever the fellow from Douglas y'all used for asphalt, he came up there last year. I met with him, still ain't nothing done.
They was gonna put more asphalt.
They just gonna overlay what was there.
We're
and get
just
them
gonna
where they had to
repave, we're
go.
gonna repave this part
Oh,
there.
okay, I see.
Now, he acts like it's a big deal. It ain't no further up here, about 50 feet across there. We ain't talking about nothing in the front. We ain't talking about nothing on the sides. We just talking about there in the back where the drains was stopped, that was filled full of concrete and water can't get out of there.
But let us talk with the engineer, get him down here, and I promise you that we'll get working on it and try to get this resolved.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. All right, let's move on to the next, thing, Ms. Springs. Has everybody got a copy of that,
Yes, sir.
intergovernmental agreement and memo? Is all ready, the thing with the GSP, post 16 wants us to, we're gonna do this Thursday night, but I wanna know if you got questions about it. And while we got, Madam Attorney here looking at it, everybody understand the agreement that we're making?
Yeah, and I do want to ask one thing on here, you know, about the land in the building and whatever. Now, once we get through with this particular project and everything, it's got the 2.07 acres that we'll deed to them as the parking lot of the building and everything else. And then the other we'll still have to take and work with. And I'm sorry, I don't have the pictures printed out for y'all that I took of the facility up there in Gainesville, but you'll have them Thursday night to look at and everything.
And we hope that, we hope some of that's on the rest of it.
Yeah, but like I said, that's what I'm saying, Lisa. The 2.07 is gonna be for this here. And I'm just
Deed it over to the Department
to
of
the
Public
Department of
Safety.
Public Safety.
The rest of it, we're hoping to deed over to the Department of Private Services.
Yes.
So that's hope.
That's hope. We're just, but I just wanna make sure we're good with that.
Yeah, that we are, but now what I want Ms. Attorney to do is you see that intergovernmental agreement between us, we've dealt with a lot between Hazelhurst and Jeff Davis County. This ain't Hazelhurst and Jeff Davis County, this is the city of Hazelhurst in the state of Georgia. Have you looked that over pretty good?
Yeah, it looks pretty straightforward. I hadn't seen anything that caused me any kind of concern or anything.
Now, once we turn them loose, we don't have to deed this thing to them until this note's paid. So,
The only thing I did have one concern that needs to be addressed, and it's in the paragraph 3 of the intergovernmental agreement. It says that the city shall advertise the building for public bid in accordance with the city's procurement procedures and applicable laws of the state of Georgia. It's my understanding that the city's not gonna bid it, we're gonna bid it ourselves.
no,
So we need to amend, we need to have this amended.
okay, you need to do that because the prison, the Department of Corrections, in this particular job, sometimes they don't do this, but they're gonna staff this thing with personnel from digging the foundation, to pouring the foundation, to plumbing, to pouring the floor, to erecting, standing up the walls, putting on the roof, putting in the door. Everything about this building is gonna be done with prison labor, except the air conditioning and the metal roof we're gonna put on it. Now, they're gonna put the solid decking, plywood, the tar paper and the insulation, and get it all wrapped up. And then the reason they don't put on the metal roofing is because the roof company themselves and the installer guarantees it. And we can't get the prisoners to guarantee that. And also the air conditioning, heating and air conditioning will be done by a separate contract. Everything else, so we don't have to bid that. Now, we are getting bids on everything in the way of materials. I've already viewed the concrete people down there right across the road. We got a special price on that below what bids would do. But anyway, you better modify so you know what you look at it now. Because everybody knows that we've had all those people here, all the prison, the people, supervisors in charge of construction, they're gonna bring into Montgomery County the talent that we need to do this building, and they will be trucked back and forth from Montgomery Prison. The fellow that's gonna be on the job site has been here, the fellow that's just his supervisor that comes by, and the boss in Forsyth, which has been here. And, so that's the way that's going.
I think it's a good thing that we're doing it. But one question if I could ask you, you said that the roofing and the metal roofing and something, the air conditioning, those two has got to be bid, right?
That's right.
And those bids are gonna be open, hopefully, our local people,
Yes, sir.
I want some of our local folks.
In fact, if you wanna go in
Get
here,
some
if you wanna
bids.
go in the air conditioner business, get your air conditioning, heating and air conditioning license, we'll let you bid.
I'll do it.
But madam, I want you to look over that intergovernmental agreement
I have.
with the
That was
state
only-
before we approve that, to make sure that we, our agreement is, we know what we're agreeing to.
That was the only thing that caused me any kind of concern with
But
that.
you're gonna look it over good before Thursday night.
Yeah, I've read it several times, it looks good.
Any questions about that, gentlemen? Okay, let's move on. Have you got that, Sarah Davis, lap amendment approval thing for her?
Yes, sir.
How about you take over with that?
Excuse me. As you see, gentlemen, the email that I received from Nikki with ALGA, you had previously approved the language access plan for the CDBG grant that we were awarded. There was some different wording that DCA required in that language access plan. So basically, all you're doing is approving the new plan that DCA has required to have the language in there.
Was the language in it initially, or was it left out?
No, I do not know if it was left out. I don't know if it had to be rewritten or what. They did not give me any explanations.
But the
on it.
amended one is here,
Yes,
ready for us now to approve Thursday night.
yes, sir.
What we can do is look back at our notes at the one we had before. Would you do that for us? Look at the one we, and see what the change is between that one and the one that they put for us, and we'll try to get that done Thursday night. Y'all got any questions about that? I don't know what it is either, I have no idea. You ready to move on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go on now. Bernice and I both have been struggling, and I've taken the lead several times for employees and different civic organizations that are serving the community, and being Miss Carter and their Kim, and well, let's just charge them so and so, and I'm getting tired of off the cuff deciding what we're gonna do for employees and charitable organizations and Turkey Federation and all this kind of business. We need to decide what we're gonna charge for the civic center. It's beginning to be used more and more. I don't know whether you've been out there lately, but you remember we showed, what ball game was it we showed out there, y'all? Georgia, Florida game. And we put up a system now that hooks up to the TV, and we can show the Georgia, Florida game as big as from this clock. The screen that you can project it is as big as from here, that end wall down there, maybe even a little bigger. It's real nice. And the other night we were out there, the other day, we had a meeting out there, and some folks in the school had all their paraphernalia and projected it out there for us. And then who was the other one that put some? Mary Ann, you used it. We've got a nice facility for that sort of thing. So functions that you might like to have a group to go look at a football game or some other event that's going on, or if you've got a movie or any kind of show and tell type thing, we've got a nice facility out there now. The commodes are now finally, I think everybody's really convinced that we finally got the plumbing problem solved. So we've got a nice facility, but how do we charge for it?
Well, basic, my opinion, and I mean, I suppose, is gonna be, depending on the function, the length of time, whatever else, I mean, we're gonna have a certain deposit amount that we put down in case they don't clean up or whatever else. But now, as far as flat out saying what they charge, do we know what different people charge for renting different buildings for different functions around here? And do y'all have a guideline to go by?
$50.
I mean,
More than that,
Yeah.
yes.
Propane.
The Masonic Lodge charges $100 to rent their building, or $125. If you leave it clean and the way they want it, you will get $25 back, okay? Propex, I'm not sure, but my last understanding was that if you are an employee, you do not pay anything. But if you are not, and they will not rent it to know anyone that is not an employee anymore. They have cut that out. Currently for the Civic Center, if you're having an event out there such as a wedding reception or a wedding or a reunion or anything like that, and whether you're out of town, whether you're here, whatever, we charge $100 deposit, and then it's $300 for the actual renting of the facility. That covers your electric bill, that covers your cleaning, and believe you me, they have left it filthy, and Miss Gill has had to clean it. Now, if they are of the school, and I'm not a member of the council, but I'm just telling you, I am not going to charge the school. They have children that we need to support when it comes to functions out there. Now, when I had my event, for me personally, I paid the $100 deposit, I left it with the city. I didn't care whether it was spotless or not, I supported the city myself. Those are some of the things, and I have not checked outside of the city limits, but those are the things that I do know.
No, I mean, like I said, and it's not gonna do, it's not a bad idea to take and call surrounding areas to see what they charge and everything else. I mean, no, we don't have to take and mirror them, but we can get an idea of what ballpark we need to be in and everything else. I mean, because we just don't need to slap a price out there and be done with it.
But most of your facilities are like twice the size of what we got out.
Right, and I mean, that's another thing too, you need to take into account to the amount of people that it'll take and hold and everything else, and, you know, right now, if we're doing it for, what, $300 a night and everything else?
That even if they bring it for the weekend, if they're going to have the event on a Saturday, okay? They come and get the key from us. If they want to decorate Friday, they get that key on Thursday. Well, they out there Friday, they're out there Saturday, and then they go back Sunday morning and clean up. So,
I mean, and I don't think that's really out.
We're not having any problem with that, with the big weekend events, where we turn it over and putting up the $100. That's something that they normally have a dance, and a lot of times they pay the extra fee because if they're going to serve alcohol, they have to have our policemen have to go out there. They have to have two. I believe they have to have 2 of our policemen out there. We're not having any trouble with those big events.
Right.
But where the problem comes in is the 4-H club comes out and wants to have something out there.
Well, we're
And then
talking
Kim
about-
comes to me and I said, don't charge them anything.
Well, we're talking about a cat of a different color there. We need to support our local entities like, you know, the county and the school system and everything else. I mean, and those things there, I wholeheartedly agree that we should take and support them and not charge them. I mean, that's my opinion on that, but I thought we were talking about it as a whole and everything.
Well, now, see, just sometimes though, different businesses want a lunch meal out there. They want to go out there, cater a lunch, be there from, say they want to get there with some of their planning at 11 and have lunch and a meeting to 1 or 2, and then they're gone. We don't have a fee for that, do you?
no, sir.
We don't have a fee for that. What should it be?
Do $100?
You know, it's $50 to $100, somewhere in that range. I mean, and because you're taking and providing the facility, the utilities and whatever else. I mean,
Okay, if they want it during the day, say 11, 12, 1, 2, if they want it 4 hours in the middle of the day, it's $100?
I think that'd be fair. I mean, we're not trying to gouge anybody.
Okay, if they're not coming out decorating for a family reunion or a big party or anything, they want to come out there and have a meeting and a meal, and a meal that night and be gone for just one night. They get the key at, they had a dinner meeting, let's say they had a dinner meeting out there from 11 to 2. When they get moved out, everything, they want to go in at 3 o'clock, rearrange for a night meeting. What is it for that, just one night? With no,
Well, I mean, if we're talking about just like a 4-hour meeting and everything else, I mean, you're talking, do the same way. I mean,
let's do it a little bit different, because I think you can run into some problems there. Let's say if they use it midday, charge them $100 for a business or some kind of event, a midday event, $100 for it. And we'll get into something else in a minute. All right, then let's say if they have it just for the evening meeting, business meeting, let's go $200. Or is that too much?
Are we talking about, are we talking about businesses now and
Anything.
city club, without talking about personal?
Well, I was gonna get back in a minute and
We're
let,
gonna get back to employees.
we'll get back to that kind of thing, but general rule, if there's no attachment, they just want to use our facility and all it's there. I think the $100 for a lunch meeting is fine. I said 200 for that night alone, and where they in and out that evening and it's not tied up. Is that 200 too much?
Well, it depends on, I mean, if you're talking about the middle of the day and everything, and they're gonna have 3 to 4 hours, and we're gonna charge them 100, if they're gonna be 3 to 4 hours in the afternoon,
175.
You know, maybe 150 for it or whatever, but I don't see what the difference is. They've still got their, if they're only gonna be there for X number of hours anyway, unless they intend to take and run it on into the evening, you know, if they're gonna be there for a business meeting in the evening, say from 4 to 7 or 8, I mean.
Okay, you're saying either midday or at night, a 3 or 4 hour meeting, $100.
That's, yeah, that would be.
Our businesses or whatever.
Yeah.
Can I interject something?
Yes, ma'am, please do. That's what we're doing.
You need to take into account, if they do not clean that facility, automatically that's $100. That's to pay Ms. Gale, That's to pay our electric bill, okay?
That too, when you talk about the $100, even the kids with the schools and clubs and organizations, you can collect $100 down payment. If they clean it up, they get it back. If they don't, we gotta clean it up, they lose it.
Okay, so okay, now let's see if I can summarize so we can move along with this. It's $100 to rent it for that midday or that night. You do have to put up a $100 deposit. If you don't clean it, that $100 is gonna clean up.
Exactly.
Is that okay with everybody?
I think if this is your businesses and our social clubs or those clubs, that we should have a roster of everybody in this county or this city, then we support those people. And if it give them a good place to go have a meal, it's nothing wrong with doing that. I don't think we need to charge them all that much to go sit
We're
out.
gonna
and
get to
eat.
that in a minute now, you're getting into a different
Oh,
area.
Lord.
This is, yeah. All right,
Okay.
so we're gonna leave our 300 for these big parties, where they're
Yes.
decorating and get to, and have to put up the deposit. We're gonna go with $100. Now, y'all, Miss Gail, bless her heart, she's so good. Some of these little events, if a person wants to come out and have a meeting, you reckon we could get by with a $50 deposit rather than a $100 deposit on these little short meetings?
Sure.
You better look at your electric bill.
Well, that ain't got nothing to do with the electric bill, they're gonna refund it anyway, it's gonna be $100 for 4 hours. And then, but the deposit is only to clean up, if we have to clean up line. I'm saying, could you get by with 50 rather than say,
For a cleaning deposit?
No, I think you need to be 100 so that they'll wanna get it back.
That's pretty much about the way it works. I mean,
okay, all right, so we've got this, we're gonna stay with 300 for these big, wedding parties and family reunions and all these big weekend events. We're gonna go with $100 and a $100 deposit for cleanup. If they clean up, they get the $100 back for either a midday meeting or a night meeting. And we've got that. Now then, if the Rotary Club or the 4-H or the Young Folks, somebody comes out there and it's a civic event, what are we gonna charge them? Well, and wait a minute now. There's one more thing I'm gonna ask you about in a minute. And that's employees. We'll get to that later. Right now, let's talk about civic functions that are serving this community. Like if, I don't know, somebody goes out there and when they get through with the thing, the money they raise goes to the 4-H club, or, you know, it's some sort of civic function. What do you want to charge them?
well, the school entities, I don't think we should charge them anything but a deposit and give it back to them if they clean it for the school now. I'm talking about just for the school or a government entity or whatever, the county or whatever. I'm just putting that out there. Charge the cleaning deposit, but don't charge them a fee, a host fee for it.
If it's not booked, if it's available.
Right.
Right.
But now, as far as the civic clubs and everything else, what do we have here? Kiwanis and what else?
We've got Kiwanis,
The Rotary.
Rotary,
Veterans.
the veterans. We've had the Turkey Federation, the Wild Turkey Federation, and you've had, what's that other event? There's been another one out there. And those are the ones that have come to me, and I've had to come to y'all, and you've told me no fee. So when you start looking at your civic events, and you're gonna charge this one this amount, and you got this other one coming up here, and then you're gonna say, well, I'm gonna charge them $150.
And see, I've been just playing it by the cuff.
This is what we've had to battle here internally. Because if you do it for one, you better look at doing it for the all.
Well, I mean,
I think sometimes it's better to do it by the cuff.
I think if our businesses, because apparently we're going from one thing to the other, and might not understand what you're talking about. The businesses, I'm going back to, if you wanna have dinner out there, I don't see anything wrong with $50 or $100 to give them a nice place to meet and eat. And to be sure, you can talk to them if they didn't clean it up, because they're here in Hazel, we can call them, say you did not do it. Now, the civic places, honestly, you got to have a license. You got to be fully 501 in order to be a civic organization, everybody just can't come up and say that they're a civic organization in this city. And if you got them down there, you know exactly what you do. You set a price for them that's down, because we want to support these people.
Agree with that.
Or what do we charge them?
I say you charge them $100 and ask them for that $50, but the businesses, that you expect them to help us keep the civic center up. And if they mess it up, you got to call them and say, guys, they didn't do it right. Then we have to come back and put something. Just don't do it right now.
I still think you need some type of deposit. Adults are just about as bad as the kids.
So that's true.
Let them do it where, let them get it back. I have no problem with that, but if you got a large place out there and you tell me I'm gonna get $50 back, that don't mean a lot. Tell me $100, that means a little bit more.
All right, let me ask you to do this, 'cause we can't keep spending all night here with this kind of stuff. Bloodworth, how about you and Ramey get with Miss Burton? She's gonna be gone.
Mhm.
Well, it can wait. How about you two get together when she does get back in there? I'll tell you what you can do. Tell you who knows as much about it as being Bernice is Kim Carter. She's been handling it for a long time. Why don't y'all get with Kim Carter on various different things that comes up and come up with a recommendation for us? Would y'all two do that for us?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
That's fine.
Get with Kim, she knows pretty much about it, she keeps the calendar in there. Get with her, see if you can come up with something on there fairly easy for us. And listen, we've gone this long, I'll keep handling it by the cuff, and if y'all don't like it, y'all kiss my foot. I'll handle it that way until y'all get something worked out.
You want to cover the employees yet, or what?
No, I'm gonna let them do it, I haven't had enough.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sellers got me, I'm teasing you. I'm your customer, don't you forget that either, now. I'm a paying customer. All right, let's move on, where are we anyway?
Proclamation.
Okay, you've got the proclamation, Mr. Johnson, what do you know about, this proclamation? Can you tell us a little something about it?
I think that what you all have wrote up, Mr. Mayor, is fine, and it's to be sent to
I got it.
Get Carolina anyway, because we're getting it put into a souvenir booklet,
Right.
and they're asking that this be sent to them as soon as possible. So I think you've done a good job.
Oh, well, let me ask you this, is it, would it help, you think, them, for them to approve it, and the council tell me to sign it like it is tonight?
All of you have to sign it.
Huh?
All of you've got to sign this. We got to get the original, this is just a draft that you have. Basically, this is what we're asking tonight, is for y'all to say it's ready to go. You don't see any problem with
Well,
it.
he just said it was signed.
Lori will print the original on the correct paperwork. Then everyone will need to sign this proclamation
Okay, that's good.
and get it.
All right, now then, Mr. Johnson, I'm gonna ask you to take your time to read this thing and maybe have some, if you got some advisors on your group with that, to look it over and see if there's anything you want changed. We'll get Ms. Lori to fix it, and then we, as we come by and stop in and out, we can all sign it and get it in the mail as soon as possible. Will that work with everybody?
We sign it, have it done by Thursday.
Well,
We're all at one place Thursday.
Well, I won't be here to sign it.
yeah, she will
And
be,
attest it.
yeah.
Well, maybe we're not when you get back.
When you get back. Yeah, we'll work on it. All right, we know what to do with that. But the main thing, listen to me. The main thing, Mr. Johnson, is you to approve the content of it.
All right.
And as soon as you approve the content, we can handle the rest of it.
All right.
Okay, all right, let's move on. If y'all notice number 6, explain what happened there, Ms. Bernice.
Officer Morrison was going to attend the firearms instructor training in Forsyth if he could get into the class. And unfortunately, this thing fills up like a rain barrel out there very quick. So he was not able to get in. He's going to try again. So he brought all the information back to me. So he was not able to attend. That's why it's deleted out.
All right, now the next item, discuss the travel and hotel expense for Chief Williams on Chief's Day at the Capitol in Atlanta.
He gets executive credit for that, for training Chief Thompson.
All right, that's March, that's in March, we got plenty of time to do that Thursday night. Let's see, She probably amounts to, who's going with him, you know?
By himself.
Okay, we'll probably have, just what, one night stay over, or is that going to him coming?
Go, one night stay.
Yeah, all right. Okay, what about the next item? 8, discuss travel, hotel, training expenses for Lori Williams in Gainesville, March the 13th and 14th. What is that? Is that more clerk training, or what is that?
Yes, sir, that is clerk's training. You now are able to go to what we call regional training. GMA has set it up so that the clerks can get their certification a lot faster. She will be in Gainesville March the 13th and 14th for Government 101 and Professional Skills and Development 102, and a stay at the Hampton Inn.
Okay, we'll handle that Thursday night.
9 can be done Thursday.
Huh?
9 can be done Thursday.
So, oh yeah, well, I think we need to, just this be known now.
But
Why don't you explain that, John, since you know about it?
this incident command response training, 3 officers from here, John Lee, Chris Morrison, and Chief Williams are going to New Mexico where the firefighters went. There's no charge to the city. Everything is taken care of.
Okay. I think that's an excellent program.
And it's, yeah, from what I've read about the fire stuff and whatever else, it is a great program, and any training we can
I
get.
want to make sure all of y'all knew that. I knew that, and I want to make sure everybody else did. We'll handle that, that's not too late, we'll handle that Thursday night. Put that back on the agenda for Thursday. Discuss travel hotel training for Opie, Carl, Chris, and Lower Georgia Rural Water Association, May the 7th through the 9th. Where is that? This is still at Jacob?
It's a check,
Yes, sir.
Any questions or discussion relative to that?
That's the ones you had questions about. That's the one you had questions about the other day when you got with me.
Does everybody need to go to that? Who knows? Carl's not here.
I know Opie has to go for his licensing. Let's see, Carl would have to go. This, not for the licensing, but the points. I do know those two have to have points to work with the water wastewater treatment plant. I don't know about the other two. That would be something that Commissioner would need to find out about.
But on all of this traveling that we got here, since we got a budget crunch,
Yes, sir?
is there anything that we can do that they may not have to go as much? I know commissioners now, you know, we have a problem, especially on our electric thing that we have to take. But is there anything that they can do locally and not have to travel for this?
Unfortunately, for this type of stuff right here, Councilman Johnson, there's not. They do not go to the local cities to do this. I'm
They
sorry
have
to
no
tell you.
online.
They don't offer it online.
No, and they don't offer it online yet.
And I can tell you this, and here again, we're looking at a lot of expense, and we've got to cut it, you know. The display of equipment, anybody that's working with water metering and sewer lines and valves and that, it's just an amazing, if the display of machinery is there. And I think the main point is who do we need to send and who do we need to work. So at any rate, y'all look at that item 10, please, and make up your mind during the week what you think we might want to do with that. Then I'm going to, even though it's mayor and council account, I'm going to ask you to handle number 11 for us.
Okay. I received an email from Becky Taylor with Georgia Municipal Association. They are having regional workshops. It is for the 2020 census, and it's organizing for a complete count. In this email that I received, it states that it's information on how communities can ensure a good census count by organizing local complete count committees. These workshops are ideal for elected city and county officials. Appointed is included in there. I'm planning on going. But for you elected officials, the dates that are closest, March the 6th is a Wednesday from 1 to 4, that's in Macon. Then you've got Thursday, March the 7th from 1 to 4, that's Statesboro. Eric has already told me he is going. Mayor Stone has told me he is going to Statesboro. I would love to see all 5 of you there.
Let me tell you something, about the census. Of course, it's a ways off, and I know we get tired of hearing it, but now listen, this will open up your eyes and make you listen a little better. Do you know that every person that we miscounted in the census cost us $1,300?
Yes, sir.
Did you hear what I said? A missed person, and of course, this is a round figure they've got there. When you take the way the rebates are assigned, and everything with reference to your population, with the grant money is put out, there's just so many revenue sources that they look at it, and when it's redistributed, they count your population. And when you go through year after year after year, they've come up with the figures that when you miss one person in a little small town like ours, it costs you $1,300. So you can see how important it is, particularly our Mexican friends that live here and so forth. We need, if they live in here, we need to count them, because that number helps us when funds start being allocated back based upon population. It's $1,300. So it's really important, y'all. Let's go on.
Denise, go ahead and put me down for the Statesboro, then I'll try to make that one with everybody then.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You want to review the minutes tonight, do you?
No.
All right, let's go. All
No.
right, we got the other things done.
Yeah,
I think we're about to, what is it?
The number 16.
Huh?
I was getting number 16 ready for you.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I've got a check in there on my desk. It's been filled out to pay Ryland $10,000 something. And I thought Ryland was supposed to be paying us. $10,760. Ryland's got to pay expenses. I thought of course, I know we're having trouble with getting started, and I can understand that. And I'm not here again, I'm not being a foot about it, but as I understand it, when the thing's enforced, we collect the fees, and Ryland gets it all, except we get a percentage of it. So we write them a check for that portion. We're still paying, we're still running our trucks. We haven't seen any new trucks here. The same employees are on the payroll. Of course, now, according to these figures, and I've asked Ms. Tammy Betts to verify this. I've gone to her with this, to check this process. But now this business and the mess we're in right now, and invoicing and all, I don't know what's going on with it, and I'm not real sure about it. And I hope you are. If you got it all figured out, if you'll let me know, it'll help my feelings.
They had a projected date to start, didn't
Hmm?
they? They had a projected date to actually.
Well, that
start.
ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen now. It ain't gonna happen I think it was supposed to start January the 1st, and we went to maybe February. And now it ain't gonna happen March the 1st, and it may not happen April the 1st either. It's really in limbo, and so anyway, I'm really concerned about it. I like the Ryland folks. I think their intention is to enter into a good agreement with us that'll be serviceable to us, but we've all got all kind of problems involved in it, and it's going to involve the county I don't know what to do about it.
What is the check being written for?
It's right there in that form, look at it, you got it in your, look here,
I'll explain.
look here, get this sheet out of here. Don't they all have this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, everybody's got it,
Do it?
right there,
Okay.
turn around right there.
Page.
Yeah, it's in there. You see, they say the money collected from the garbage service, this is, I don't even know what period of time this is.
December.
Is it just for the month of December?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you say, well, that's not correct, and 39,712.33 collected from garbage service. And 126.50 is an adjustment. And then we're supposed to pay around 10, and they say we've come out on that. I don't know.
Puts $28,000 back in ours after their expenses and whatever else.
The 28 coming, back to us,
Yeah.
10 goes to Rob.
Did,
Sounds positive.
supposedly, there's been some adjustments in there for all the salaries that we paid. Has that been accounted for? Is it salaries and retirement?
Who's communicating with Ryan?
I think Lori and Carl are doing this. But see, another thing that we've got, well, we've got several, I don't know what to do about this, y'all. I don't know, one of our garbage trucks is gone, and they're gonna pay us for it, they pay us good money for it, I don't have any problem with that. This thing has got us in limbo right now. I don't think any of us expected it, but it's gotta be handled.
Well, if you got this supervisor doing it, didn't you say that Miss Metz?
No, Miss Smith had nothing to do with this. Lori's gone through and picked all these figures out.
I've been working with Rylan, if y'all let me look at it.
Yeah.
So let me get into it.
So that they did a double check the figures and
Because
all.
I've been dealing a lot with Rylan, so, on some other things, so.
Okay, let's move on. Refuse collection, okay, citizens comment, anybody, Tyler, sir, you got some comments?
Sir,
Okay,
I got a question.
don't ask no questions, Rhonda, we don't know anything.
I'm confused
Go
about
ahead.
the Ryland. Did I just understand you to say that y'all still paying for the employees? They were supposed to start January 1st, but it doesn't look like they're gonna start March the 1st.
We got some contractual issues that I'm dealing with right now, so the Rylan contract is pending a start date. So the city is still collecting garbage.
Well, if y'all still using your equipment, your employees, why would we be paying Ryland? That's my question.
That's some contractual issues we're having to work out.
Okay.
I can talk to you after and let you know, but it's a whole long story. I know Mary read it wrong, but I can explain it to you after.
Did you skip 16, Mayor?
No,
That
that's,
is
That was it?
16.
Okay.
That is 16.
Okay.
Okay, citizen comments, you got any more comments, my dear?
No, sir.
Okay, commissioners, y'all got anything y'all want to add tonight? We like to start and stop in an hour, and we've got 2 minutes. And I'm gonna take 2 minutes. No, I ain't ready for you. What is this thing, is this something else I told you?
that's
We
what
got
you
to
told me to take care of.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's part of it, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Can you sum it up in 30 seconds?
Not the mayor.
It's 7 hours up.
All right, y'all be
well,
good.
don't cut me just a little slack now. I'm trying to do pretty good. Well, let's see, since you got this laying in front of me, y'all got your deal where we got $150,000. The department has approved the city's request for funding assistance for the traffic signal at the intersection of Miller and 341, or 90, whatever you want to call it, $150,000 or 90% of the project. It's the project that's going to run a little more than that, so we're going to use our whole $150,000. We'll have a little bit left over with this. The bid is about 140. I think that we're going to get it down to pretty close to 140,000. And but the striping is not in this contract, and Lord knows, I didn't realize that striping under a red light could run several $1,000s. It's going to run about $7,000 or $8,000 just to do the striping. And then the handicap ramp the best price I've got is 20,000. So if you take 140 and 20 and 7 or 8, 28, add that, somebody add that for me.
About 170,000.
170, or we got, what it amounts to, the city's going to put about $25,000 in this light, but we can do that with Splash. So, we've got a light finally approved, and by the way now, I've been telling y'all, I'm getting the man in, and me and Carl's been working on it too, and got it down to the Bass that quoted us before, you know, we had the thing all approved before. Bass Sigler is gonna do it, and I've already given them an order for the job. You have to order the poles, you have 3 months lead time on the poles. He says he's gonna try to rush it up. So, I've already told Bass to order the poles. And, so we're moving on your light, Mr. Johnson,
Thank you, sir.
and we got the money to pay for it.
Thank you, sir.
So, now then, on the, state patrol post, I think a while ago we got off into it, and with this intergovernmental agreement, but, finally, I think it's dry enough, we can get started. And, Charles and I, we've got, yeah, I'll get that in a minute. Finally, they started off, they were gonna charge us $18,000 for the architectural plans. We got the thing down to $10,000. Some of us went up by and talked with the architect, and he's agreed to a $10,000 price on that. Then the environmental, level 1 environmental statement that had to be done out there. There was all kind of figures given on that. One person gave the price, I think, was $17,000. But that's gonna be done for $3,500. So we got the architectural plans for 10, we've got the environmental thing for $3,500. We're down into, we don't have to, by the way, it was a big expense item to put an XLD cell lane out there. We don't have to put one. With the traffic there now, I'm almost to the point, but, well, no, I'm not either. With what we're trying to do, we're gonna have to eventually have an XLD cell lane out there, Mr. Griffin, if we do what we're talking about, but we don't have to have it now. And it can be added to the next, added to the next project. So we don't have to do the XLD cell, and that's the one price, I don't know whether y'all know that or not, but to get that thing built and all, the best price I got was $250,000. So that's out, so we got that out of the thing. And then now we've gone back and reassessed all of our, I've got a contract price of 75% of regular business cost on concrete from my friend Francis Locke from Douglas, and they're right across the road. We're gonna go into the state patrol post on budget of what we plan on, and you can be assured of that, and we're keeping a real close tab on it. Of course, here again, now the weather is eating our butts up. I'm almost embarrassed that I carried a machine out there a month ago, and I got it there like the ball get down one time. So I got it back up here and parked it, left it alone, and I sent Conrad out there to get started with his machine. And he said, Mayor said, we don't need to start yet. So at any rate, it's almost ready. And Ms. Thompson and I have opened an account. You know, we're gonna try to charge. We've had to write one check out of the general fund, haven't we, for the?
Yes.
But we're gonna pay that back. We've opened a checking account now, and every bill from now on will be paid out of that account. And anybody can go to the checkbook and see what's been spent, like every single dollar. When we get through this, a few people, I won't stick it in their nose. But we won't get into that. But anyway, we're gonna build a post, and we're gonna, it'll be done. We're not gonna have it open quite as quick as I thought we would, but I can't have it. But that's the post. Now, the traffic light, the post. Y'all don't know if you, all of you been out to the treatment plant or not. But boy, have we had those prisoners in one heck of a mess out there. If you hadn't gone out there and stuck your head in that treatment plant, it's a mess that's in that thing and what we're putting those people in, it's almost, you just almost won't believe it. But at any rate, I believe in another 30 days, I believe we'll have that down to something that you can sweep and mop up and all out there. It's, that's been the filthiest mess I've ever seen. Now, we've got the money. I think I don't think we're gonna use, we're gonna count on help to help us with that, but I've got a good bit of experience with it now that I've already done the other side. I think that we can put all new diffusers and get that other side. We've already got the door built for the side. I built a door for the other side that I didn't use, and we're gonna use it over there. I had to cut a bigger one to get some cleaning equipment in the other side. It was much deeper, it was waist high and something like this. But at any rate, that treatment plant needs to be, and I'm putting it on y'all's back to help me now. In July and August, when they first cut that hole in that thing, it was too hot and steamy and nasty to go in there in July and August. Well, the weather's, of course, the rain has been bad, but now it's February. And maybe in March, if we keep plugging real hard, we'll have that thing clean and we can get with the same outfit that put new diffusers and all in the other side. They did the last side for $92,000, I believe, plus some other expenses, but we've got that to do and it's gotta be done now. We've got the money to do that with. It's sitting in our reserve account. We're okay with that. But that's gotta be, where we've been dragging around, we've got to get busy now. And we've paid for those prisoners and suffered them. But now when we get it down to this point, we got to get busy. And we got to get Ray back in there with his steamer. And those walls, you know, are 16 foot high. And we've got to steam Jenny all that blooming thing and get that Rust-Oleum in there and paint it and paint the whole inside of that thing. And then once we get it cleaned and the concrete swept and ready, then we've got to get this company back in there to put in all new air lines and diffusers and whatnot. So it's a big project. It needs to be done March, April, May. It needs to be done before July the 1st.
We didn't have any extra, I thought, we didn't have any extra diffusers out there?
No.
Yes, we got plenty. We got all of the take out, but we decided it's not very smart. Since you put them in there in the kind of system that you've got, you don't want to put those old diffusers in it. But we thought we could put them in a thing and clean them. And, but we decided, I think we have, y'all make the decisions, I don't, but it's the best judgment of everyone that I've talked to, that we don't even try to clean those things, that we're asking for trouble. We will try to use some of our old airlines, where these are good, solid, and not fragile, but even them, some are brittle. But some of them are almost, I think we can look at them and tell. But at any rate, we've got that to do now. It's got to be, if you don't do it by July the 1st, you're going to be back in the hottest, awfulest hole to deal with you've ever seen in your life now. If you don't believe it, you wait till July and get in there. It's awful. So we need to expedite that. And as soon as Carl can get back there, he's doing all he can with the prison labor now. But we've got to get busy and get that project done. The filter down at the, is doing a tremendous job of cleaning what we're going into that plant. But y'all, there needs to be a metal cover over that machine.
There does, and there also needs to be another machine put in there too.
Well, we can't afford it right now. But it's doing a great job.
It does. It does a great job, but it does need to be covered.
Bad. And I've asked for it to be done. I poured a little cement around it, trying to keep it out of the mud and everything. But anyway, it needs, that thing, I'm sharing with y'all, that project needs attention now. Now, don't forget it. Let's see. Can you tell me something else you want me to do? That ain't important. There's something for us right here.
No,
Next time you want 2 minutes, just go ahead and say you want 30.
no, she does.
I've been 8 minutes.
That's it.
The prison, you know, we always help Telfair Prison when they start trying to hire a slew of people. And they've got a job fair Wednesday, February the 27th up at McCray. And they're gonna run ads in here, and if y'all know of anybody, they say the starting salary for, well, you got it here, you see it reading. No, they don't have it, do they?
No, they don't.
The starting salary is $31,000. The next group, after 6 months, they go to $32,000, and after 12 months, they go to $34,000. It's some good jobs up there. They need help up there. And that's February the 27th, if y'all want to share that. All right, I'm through.
I offer motion that go home.
Amen. All in favor, say aye. All, any opposed?
No.
We're adjourned.
Mr. Dwayne,
hey, I knew, oh my.
Oh, Lord.
Why didn't you help me? Hey, listen to this. Hey, listen to this, y'all. I knew it was one of, Eric, listen a minute.
Yes, sir.
I have approached the county on helping us with this new well and tank project, and I've gone so far as to ask our attorney to draw up an intergovernmental agreement between the two. I think it may happen.
Good. That's all.
Sounds good.
That's all.
Yeah, hey, but you know something? That's the.
That's right.
Get over.